Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bullpen Talk. This is episode number 3. Today, we're going to talk about Joc Pederson's hot start to spring training, our 2021 MLB award predictions, and more stuff. Here's Ethan.
All right, hey guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and um, ask question one here, and we're going to talk first off about Joc Pederson's really hot start to spring training. Me as a Cubs fan, I'm really excited. Me and Lucas talked about this when we signed Joc Pederson. It was a really great move for us. One of the first good moves of the offseason of the Jed Hoyer era of Chicago Cubs baseball. So I got some stats on Joc. He is number one. He's tied for number one in MLB in spring training for home runs. Let's see, he's number one in on base percentage, slugging percentage, and OPS, and he has a number one in batting average this year too. He's got a 448 batting average, 5 home runs, 10 RBIs, 1500 OPS. So he's having a phenomenal spring. We traded Schwarber away. He's kind of our Schwarber replacement. And from a Cubs fan's perspective, Joc Pederson is 110% better than Kyle Schwarber right now. Um, Joc Pederson's numbers are video game numbers. I mean, if he keeps this up, he's Babe Ruth almost. I mean, those numbers are crazy. Obviously, this is spring training. You can't take it with a grain of salt. But if Joc Pederson takes this level of production into the season, he's going to be one good player for the Chicago Cubs this year. And also may actually become an all star this year. Maybe a little controversial pick, but if he keeps the production up, like I said before, he is an all star caliber player.
Joc Pederson, I thought was a very underrated signing by the Cubs this offseason. Not many people put much attention to it, but he really fills the spot of Kyle Schwarber. Maybe, most likely, even better. He will be better. Joc Pederson, the Dodgers couldn't afford him. Crazy to say. Dodgers, all that money paying Trevor Bauer, couldn't afford Pederson. But I think the Cubs are going to really like Pederson. Spring training stats, you can never take seriously. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. In spring training, you never know what's going to happen. But I feel like the Cubs got something good in Joc Pederson for this year.
100%. Joc Pederson's kind of showing that 2015 All Star in him. We finally get to see that true potential. You know, he was a All Star back in 15, so we're finally seeing a little bit of potential field there. So that's awesome.
Yes. Now let's get on to our MLB award predictions for the 2021 season. I'm going to have you start off. Who is your MVP for both leagues?
National League MVP. Let's go Cody Bellinger. That's kind of one of the easy picks that you can pick. But Cody Bellinger, pretty solid NL MVP pick there. American League. Oh, I would say Mookie Betts, but he's with the Dodgers now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go and take the easy route again and go Mike Trout.
That is exactly who I went with for the American League MVP this year. You can't
He's
go
kind of
wrong when you pick Mike Trout for MVP. You just can't.
he's the easy pick. He's the automatic pick. He's always in the conversation. But he's the easy pick. He's the number one pick for most people.
Mm-hmm. And then for the National League, for me, I got the Phillies' $300 million man, Bryce Harper. Hasn't lived up, in my opinion, to that $300 million in the 2 seasons that he's been with the Phillies. But I think 2021 is where he's going to turn around and come back to that 2015 NL MVP, Bryce Harper. So for the Cy Young, I am actually going to go back to back for both of last year's pitchers. Shane Bieber, who has not had a good spring training, but he's working on a new pitch. So I think he's going to have the same great season he did last year. Probably won't win the Triple Crown again, but you never know. Trevor Bauer, National League, he's just going to be good because I feel like Trevor Bauer will live up to that $45 million contract. I hope he does. But it'll work out for the Dodgers to have Clayton Kershaw, Trevor Bauer, 2 Cy Youngs.
And Walker Bueller also, you got to add him to the
Yeah, and
Dodgers
Walker
starting
Buehler. Yeah.
rotation. The fact that Tony Gonsolin is like a number 6 starter is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
it just tells you how good, how deep that Dodgers rotation is. It's unbelievable.
Hmm.
So I'm going to start with my NL Cy Young, and I'm going to go Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish got second
Good pick.
place in 2020. Me personally, as the Cubs fan, I say that Yu Darvish deserves it more than Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer, nothing against Trevor. Lucas knows that Trevor's like my number like 2 or 3 player.
Hmm.
We talk about Trevor a lot. I love his videos. I love what he's doing for the game. But if you look at, no offense to him, but if you look at all the games that he pitched, he was playing against the Pirates and the Cubs and the Brewers. And let's be honest, those teams aren't the greatest teams. So I don't know how much he really deserved that. I hate to call it a Mickey Mouse Cy Young, but I'm not on the Mickey Mouse Cy Young wagon, but I don't know how credible it is, and I feel like Yu Darvish is going to win the Cy Young this year. He's going to be on a stacked and great team in San Diego. He's working on his 9th pitch, which is crazy. I can't believe a pitcher has 9 pitches in his arsenal,
Hmm.
but he's working on that 9th pitch in spring training. He looks great in the San Diego Padres uniform, and I think he's NL Cy Young. And my AL Cy Young predictions, I'm going Chris Sale. Chris Sale's had a down couple years since 2017, kind of the same with Bryce Harper. Chris Sale, we know he's got some nasty stuff. It's just wind up. It's just crazy the way that he throws the ball. He's got a devastating slider. He's on his A game. He is probably one of the best pitchers to live, but he's been hurt. He's had some injuries. He's just not himself lately, and I expect a huge bounce back season from Chris Sale in 2021. And this is a little bit of a controversial pick, but I believe in my boy Chris Sale. Chris Sale's gonna have a heck of a year.
Now, Chris Sale would have to have a heck of a year because right now he is still recovering from Tommy John. And I was looking at this last week. The Red Sox are predicting him back between about May and August. So he would have to have a great season if he comes back in May and June.
Yeah,
But if
he's
Chris
coming off
Sale
that
can
Tommy
do.
John.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're gonna see how long it takes him to get back, but I think that Chris Sale's gonna recover pretty early. I think he'll be back.
Mhm.
I think he'll be back when the season starts, April, May. I think he'll be there. And with that, I mean, his win total probably won't be that big because he'll be probably a month or 2 delayed, but I still think that Chris Sale's going to have a monster year. And no matter if he's a month or 2 behind, I think he's still going to win that AL Cy Young award.
So now on to Rookie of the Year. I'm going for the National League, Ke'Bryan Hayes. I think he might still be counted as a rookie. I'm not for
Yep,
sure, but I think he's still a rookie for 2021. Played with some of
he's
the
going to be
Pirates
in
last year. He was their best hitter. He was their best hitter
he's
last
going to
year.
be in 2021 Top Series too. He's one of the rookie cards in that set.
Yes. Yes. Really hoping to get my hands on that. And then for the American League, for me, I feel like this is a bit biased, but I'm not being biased. Andres Jimenez, the shortstop that we got from the New York Mets, he has had an outstanding spring training. I just feel like Andres Jimenez, who is going to be named our starting shortstop because we're starting to play Ahmed Rosario in center field. We don't talk about him having the 3 years this week in center field. But starting Andres Jimenez, the rookie, over Ahmed Rosario, the 2 or 3 year veteran, shows how good this kid is.
Dang, I'm gonna pull a fuzzy on you. Whoa, hot take alert there. That
it,
that's a hot take there.
it's a hot take, but I feel like he's gonna have a good season.
Yeah, all the players that you mentioned, Brian Hayes, I saw him against the Cubs. He's got tremendous potential. He's definitely going to be a great player. But for my AL Cy Young Award, I got Bobby Dalbec. This kid is going off in
Mm-hmm.
2021 spring training for the Boston Red Sox. He's going to be that kind of that first base outfield type, that mix. He's got a lot of home runs. He's doing very well for himself in spring training. Um, if you saw the highlights, because you can't watch highlights anymore on MLB because of the stupid regulations they have. So this videos that I'm able to watch on YouTube that Fuzzy likes to put out there, which I greatly appreciate. Appreciate. But Bobby Dalbec is having a heck of a season right now in spring training. And once again, kind of got to take spring training with a grain of salt. But if he keeps up the production,
Mm-hmm.
just like Jock Peterson, Bobby Dalbec 100% is going to be that AL Rookie of the Year. I really think so. He can have a great year. And real quick,
I
my
mean,
NL Rookie of the Year, Alec Bohm. I mean, you can't. deny he had a great 2020. I think he's going to be
Yeah.
a really bright star for Philly.
Manager of the year for the National League, I got David Ross. Cubs, it's my NL prediction, or my MLB predictions yet for the postseason, but Cubs are going to have a comeback season this year after losing in the first round of the Marlins. David Ross is going to win Manager of the Year for the National League. And then for the American League, this is not biased, Terry Francona. Not biased at all. Terry Francona, Indians are going to do something this year. Terry Francona coming off all his surgeries, all his health issues, missing most of the 2020 season. That is going to win him 2021 Manager of the Year for the American League.
I'm the same with, this is my Cubs bias coming in there. David Ross, Manager of the Year. I think that he's going to lead the Cubs. Him being the former teammate, he knows quite a few people in that locker room. We're starting to get some pieces back from the old 16 team. We picked up Arrieta and Pedro Strop, so I think we're trying to rebuild our 2016 World Series mindset. And I feel like that's what this Jed Hoyer era of Chicago Cubs baseball is going to try to go back to that 2016 style of thinking for the Cubs. So 100% David Ross. We're thinking the same on that one. And for the American League, I've got A.J. Hinch. A.J. Hinch just served his suspension for the Astros thing, but this Tigers team is so young and so talented. You've got Tariq Skubal, you've got Casey Mize, and you've got, I'm sure I'm forgetting some, you've got Spencer Torkelson coming up. You've still got Miguel Cabrera, the Triple Crown winner. You still have all these great pieces. Jonathan Scope. You still have all these great pieces for the Tigers. Isaac Paredes is another one. But you have all these great prospects, and I feel like A.J. Hinch, even with the cheating scandal, put all that aside, A.J. Hinch is still a great manager. He led the Astros to the World Series. He's gonna really help this young Tigers team, and I feel like he is one. I feel that if the Tigers do good, don't be surprised. I mean, they've got a young core. It's going to take a lot of managing and a lot of flattening out and ironing out some of the bumps in the road there. And I feel like A.J. Hinch is the man for the job. So 100% he is AL Manager of the Year.
Now let's get to some news with TV. Let's start off with Sinclair. So Sinclair owns the regional Fox Sports networks. So Fox Sports West for the Angels, Fox Sports North for the Twins, Sports Time Ohio for the Indians. So they own all those. But they sold them to Bally. Bally I've never heard of until this whole sale took place. Bally bought it all out. So starting this season, Bally Sports, instead of Fox Sports, it's now going to be called Bally Sports. So if you have a team that is that was a Fox Sports, you will now have a Bally Sports. So for my example, the Indians, instead of Fox Sports, Sports Time Ohio, we now have Bally Sports Great Lakes. So I'm really interested to get your opinion on that, on why Sinclair would sell all these regional networks.
I'm going to go ahead and name off my four local things. We've got Fox Sports Chicago for the Cubs, Fox Sports Ohio for the Reds. You've got Fox Sports Midwest for the Cardinals, and you've got Fox Sports Southeast for the Atlanta Braves. I don't know why Sinclair would sell these. I don't know how much viewership they're getting, but I just want to know if you're still going to be able to, is this Bally? I really don't know much about it at all. I've never even heard of it. I don't know if you're going to have to, I don't think you're going to have to buy a subscription to it. I don't think so, correct? Or is it going to be like a new just channel? Like its own?
No, so I did research on this. So I was looking and it said, so like Twitter accounts for all these TV channels are just going to turn to, instead of the Fox Sports, it's going to turn to Bally Sports. So TV channels, say whatever TV network you have. So Sports Time Ohio for me, 662. It's just going to turn to 662 is going to be Bally Sports now. So it'll just be the same thing, just change the name.
That sounds interesting. It's going to take probably a month to adjust to that. You think they'll have the same announcers? You think Fox? Yeah. Okay, so Fox is going to carry over to Bally or whatever.
I know they're all keeping the same announcers. I think, from what I've heard, at least for the Indians and other teams.
That sounds good.
And then Fox and FS1 will have their regular weekly games.
So
they just don't
great.
Regional
so
anymore.
The Big Hurt, Alex Rodriguez, Ortiz, Pete Rose, all of all of those people can stay. Okay.
Yep.
All right. That's my big concern on Fox
Yep.
Sports. I could
That's
care
a
less
great panel.
what they turn into.
Yeah.
All right.
Now let's get into some blackouts. Blackouts absolutely stink. Especially so we're gonna use MLB YouTuber Fuzzy. He lives in Nevada. He has 6 different teams blacked out just because he lives in Nevada. All 5 California teams and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I think that is crazy. This is why MLB has problems with marketing the game. All sports have marketing, but nothing like Major League Baseball. When you black out a fifth of the league from a certain state, like that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, 100%. I have where I live is Western Kentucky, so I live like right at the north of the South, if that makes sense. So when the Cubs
Mm-hmm.
play the Cardinals, I can't watch it, and when the Cubs play the Reds, I can't watch it. And because of the way that my town is positioned in the South, it's at a weird region where I can't watch when the Cubs play the Reds and the Cubs play the Cardinals. I cannot watch their games, which is basically who they play all year because they play their NL Central Division almost like a third of the
Yeah.
time, a third of the season. So that's I can't watch any Cardinals
Mm-hmm.
games or any um, Reds games for that matter, and that sucks because that's who the Cubs play most of the time. 100%. This is one of the biggest marketing issues. If people can't watch baseball, they're not going to be interested in baseball. That's the bottom line. Manfred has to see this.
Yep.
I don't think this is necessarily Manfred. I feel like people put so much blame on Manfred, but this is not really your Manfred. This is your front office people. This is your people for the teams. These are your presidents. These are your CEOs. These are your front office people. I mean, if people can't watch baseball, like I said before, they're not going to be interested in baseball. That's the bottom line. You have to let people watch baseball for people to gain interest in baseball. If they don't do this, baseball is going to keep tanking in ratings, and we really need to change this. Someone needs to take it, step up, and take action on this.
So now on to our final thing we're going to talk about in this episode of Bullpen Talk. So this past week, in my opinion, my favorite baseball commentator out of all of them, Matt Vasgersian, is now going to be doing play-by-play announcing for the Los Angeles Angels on Fox Sports West or Bally,
Is
whatever they're going to
he
be
the
called,
guy on the hot
with
stove,
Mark.
right? With Harold Reynolds? Okay, okay, the
Yes,
hot
with
stove
Harold
guy.
Reynolds.
Okay.
Yes, Sunday Night Baseball with
Yep.
A-Rod and Jessica Mendoza. So he's going to be doing that with the Angels and Sunday Night Baseball. So I'm not sure if he's just going to be doing it Monday through Saturday and then doing ESPN on Sunday or what he's going to be doing with that. But I'm just excited because I love his enthusiasm for the game. Great to listen and watch him. I just love his
He's got a
commentary of
great
baseball.
speaking voice. He's got great points. Um, but when it comes to favorite announcer, I don't think you can ever turn your back against Kevin Millard and Chris Rose. Like that is a dynamic duo. I was a little angry. I was really sad when MLB Network let Chris Rose go because, man, he's my favorite. I'm
Yep.
not a big football fan, but I used to love. He does a football show on Fox, and I would watch that all the time just because Chris Rose is one of my favorite people. Him and Kevin Millar, 100%. I used to watch them all the time.
Intentional Talk was such a good show.
It was one of the only shows. Like it was the
Mm-hmm.
most popular show on MLB Network because one of the things like keeping them still relevant was the talk was IT Intentional Talk.
Mm-hmm. One thing I also like about Chris Rose is he's from Northeast Ohio too. So he grew up around where I'm growing up now, and he's around this area all the time. He's on radio shows sometimes. So I don't think he's working anywhere right now, but it would be cool if he could get a job somewhere around this area and just talk Cleveland sports. Because even in Intentional Talk, you could see his background, just Indian stuff all over his wall. So that's one of the things I like about Chris Rose, but I can agree. Chris Rose and Kevin Millar are definitely up there as some
That
of the
would be
best in the
awesome for
game.
Cleveland, especially you getting to hear Matt Vasgersian. Oh my, your Cleveland sports. That needs to happen immediately.
Chris Rose, not Vasgersian.
I'm sorry. Yes, Chris Rose. I'm getting them mixed up right now. This was one of the better episodes we've done. We've done 3. We may actually try to pump out another episode quicker than we normally do. We may shorten it down instead of a week, maybe here in another couple of days. I don't know. I'll have to talk with Lucas. I really appreciate all the love and support we're getting on YouTube. We're going to keep producing these. We really love making these. These are really fun to make. I love talking baseball with Lucas because on our channels we really don't get, especially me, I really don't get to express because I like to make my videos like within 5 minutes so people can watch the entire thing. So I love doing these podcasts so I can really express my baseball feelings and baseball knowledge. But speaking on behalf of me and Lucas, we really appreciate y'all and we really love doing these podcasts. And so signing off for now is Ethan.
Yes, hope you all enjoyed. Our MLB playoff predictions will be in next episode of Bullpen Talk, so super stoked for that. See what Ethan predicted and see who we both have going to the World Series. That'll be exciting to do. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.